So, Chris, you've been approached by all sorts of game developers, both big and independent. Do you have any tips for like a do's and don'ts list for an indie game developer trying to get his game reviewed?
This is the worst to do, but do make a good game. That is the first thing that will always grab our attention. Making another Angry Birds clone with crappier art, or making another Cut the Rope that doesn't load, will never get our attention, no matter how many times you email it to the press. Making something original goes a long, long, long way. And even if the game maybe isn't technically perfect, something that is unlike anything else will still get some sort of love probably by someone out there who can connect with it. I think that's a big part. I think also being respectful and not assuming that you will get press coverage is nice. I often will get emails where I am told when I should post the story, and I can tell you that that does not help. Finding a way to reach out to me in person or by email is helpful instead of doing so in a public manner like on Twitter or my personal Facebook wall. Does not go a long way, but actually emailing me privately helps. Or going to something like GDC, the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, or any of the Game Developers Conferences, and just pulling me aside or any Games Press aside. Most Games Press is very happy to meet a new young developer because it's kind of we found you, you were famous sort of thing. If we can find that new developer with that new thing that people are going to be excited about before everyone else, that's great for us. So we're always looking for people who are working on the next cool thing.
So, do you think that they, when trying to find, I mean, even just starting to contact the press, would you, I mean, suggest contacting like an editor of a site, or, I mean, who do they even talk to if they're just starting out?
I think it's always important to look at the roles on a team. If there's a previews editor and you're not going to be releasing your game for a few months, that's a good person to reach out to. If the game is ready and you want to have it reviewed, reach out to the reviews editor. A, a tip that I was given when I first came into this industry is when you are on the bottom rung, meet everyone else on the bottom rung, because ultimately you'll be climbing up at the same time. So I do think it is good if you are a brand new game developer and you can find a site out there that's small but shows a lot of promise. Those are great people to become friends with because as you climb in the industry and they climb in the industry, those will be the best contacts to have.
There's usually never any bad like reviews for indie games. I mean, definitely for the AAA games because they can take the hit. But if you get a bad game, do you just ignore it or do you actually give it a bad review? I mean, why is there just trying to support the indie system, or why are there usually no negative reviews of games?
I think a lot of it is man hours. The really good indie games that are going to come out, we kind of see it coming a mile away, and we begin coverage for it beforehand. Oftentimes we've played that game before it has come out. So when it finally does, we know it's going to be big, and then we review it, and it usually will get a favorable grade because we've been covering it up until that point, and we know it's good. Games that are not so hot or like not even bootable, of course, we don't have time to invest, one or two people on a review like that, especially if it's like a full-length game. So I think that is part of the trouble. As you see more sites that focus exclusively on indies, I think you'll see them covering games, that are not so hot. I also think you're starting now to finally see many shades of opinion instead of just the pure, ecstatic 10 out of 10. I think we saw that with Sword and Sorcery EP a little. I think you saw it with Fez. There were people like myself
Who didn't?
Their favorite game.
It had a niche or a niche.
there are people who are kind of starting to say that, and I think that's good. I think having different opinions about as many games as possible is